Fedee.
Hi,
Good morning
morning.
to you. I was just waiting to have you all settled. Good morning, and thank you for having such a beautiful smile. And I want to apologize for having you wait a little, to rob you of your time. Again, good morning. Thank you for being here. And let me first say congratulations to you on your new appointment.
Thank you again, Kabrina, for having me on the show. I'm truly honored to be here, and it's always welcoming once I'm with the team at 88.5 Sufre FM.
It's a pleasure for us to always have you here as well. I am excited knowing what that discussion will actually entail, not just for St. Lucia, but even Sufre on a whole. But behind the scenes, we had some interesting conversation where you shared Sufre, especially, in fact, you asked me, are you a business owner or are you interested, in getting assistance for your business? And that look was so impressive, we shared with each other. And I'm like, why not? And I said to you, definitely, I'm going to invite you on. So a lot of people needs to know what's happening for them to benefit as well. So startup Huddle, persons who are actually interested, or if you have already, been established in a business, and we know what really happened for COVID and all of that stuff. And if you really want to relieve and expand or have your business basically, get to that place of sustenance, this is the right person right here you need to speak to.
Thank you so much for that, Kabrina. So I just want to briefly say that majority of persons would be asking, what is Startup Huddle St. Lucia?
Yes.
And Startup Huddle St. Lucia is a chapter in the Global Entrepreneurship Network's flagship program. So this initiative was created to, the program was designed, I would say, to support early stage entrepreneurs by providing a platform for them to present their businesses, receive constructive feedback, and connect with a supportive community. The Global Entrepreneurship Network is a 501c company. It means that it's not for profit. So all the meetings are free to the beneficiaries, and it's a monthly meetup where entrepreneurs would share their challenges, their successes, while fellow business owners, mentors, and industry experts would offer valuable insights and solutions to help them. So how it works? It's one or two entrepreneurs would give a short presentation about their startup, and the audience engages in a Q&A session and offers supportive feedback. The goal is to collaborate, learn, and grow together as a business community. So Startup Huddle St. Lucia is not just about pitching, it's about building relationships, solving challenges, and fostering innovation in our local startup ecosystem. I was recently appointed the local director for the St. Lucia chapter, and we are 200 members strong. Although we have 400 persons registered, we would mostly see engagement from about 200 local startups in St. Lucia. The best thing about this is it does not replace any of the initiatives already structured by the government of St. Lucia. It's there to enhance, and we work in collaboration with the Youth Economy Agency, who I am also a beneficiary of. We also have SLYBT, and I am also a beneficiary of SLYBT and a alumna. So I would encourage any youth or startup in St. Lucia to go to Startup Huddle St. Lucia's page on Facebook, on Instagram, and follow us on YouTube, where you would get recordings of past sessions and updates and insights on how we can help you. I would also like to say that with this movement, the meetings happen every 19th of every month. We've had our first huddle in February, and this coming session is going to be very interesting as it is a step up from where we began from an idea to a business. As our first launch meeting, the second session was finding balance, planning, and work ethics. And we will be releasing our new topic this evening, so I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So I'm encouraging you all to follow Startup Huddle St. Lucia and be a part of this growing community.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that sharing. Permit me to ask you, what are the criteria for persons who are definitely interested?
So there is not a criteria per se, but there is a requirement that the business has to be in the early stages. I'm not saying that we would not give support to a ecosystem player who's maybe already been established and maybe they still have some drawbacks, but we're still welcoming at least those who have an idea and don't know how to take it to the next step. I know a lot of people have ideas that maybe came up at one point
True.
or another in their work life, and some persons are stuck from the idea phase and unable to pivot. In entrepreneurship, there's no perfect start time, but I believe that the power of now is very important. And having a team who's ready to help you go on to the next step and have you structure your business or your idea for the next phase would mean that your product could become globally recognized. And as the name says it, the Global Entrepreneurship Network Gen is in 200 countries. Persons from our local ecosystem can network with Grenada, Guyana, the OECS and CARICOM countries, including Latin America, the Americas, Europe, you name it. You have a team who's there to back you up and including industry leaders, experts, speakers, and they're based in Washington, D.C., and it's alongside the Young Leaders of America's initiative. And these two programs complement each other. So when I mentioned the Young Leaders of America's initiative, it's because I was also selected as a finalist in that program, and I'm going up with my Startup Huddle family to get the leadership skills and training, the cultural exchange, and everything they're going to be pouring into us that would help us elevate ourselves and get our business structured in a format that it becomes an enterprise. Majority of the times we get enslaved to our business where we're stuck as sole proprietors, and our dream could be that it's a big business, and you have to take your opportunities serious because an opportunity is a potential has the potential to place you in rooms and markets where you would get like-minded individuals, and that is what Startup Huddle did for me, including the Young Leaders of America's initiative, where I will be heading to America in the coming months for 6 weeks alongside 279 other participants and finalists. So we went to Barbados and we were now called ambassadors for our islands. So I am proud to say that I am a St. Lucian and your new ambassador who's going up there, and we will be doing 1 week in Texas, 4 weeks with our placement city, and the last week will be in Washington, D.C. So I'm hoping to come back with as much resources, information, knowledge, training skills that I could share and the experience, and in hopes that this program would continue, that other solutions can benefit from it.
I must say, what an opportune time to host you.
Yes,
Privileged. I'm
indeed.
privileged. Um, if I may add,
Mhm.
is there mentorship for persons basically who, again, we want to start our business, but it's always the fear sometimes of not knowing, how it's going to play out for us. And everything starts really well, and circumstances. Sometimes you have to navigate various crises, and it plunges you financially.
That's an interesting question for me because I'm
How do
I'm
you start
actually
up
I'm
actually?
actually happy you asked. What happens to an entrepreneur is this is your dream. And most of us get stuck in the dream phase. And until you decide to wake up, that you're going to take the first step. And for me, when I planned to launch back in 2021, I consulted family and friends. Everybody was telling me it's pandemic time, and they believe that being a new mom would be a challenge to navigate entrepreneurship and doing everything else. But nobody understood that it comes with the freedom. The goal is the freedom. You can't focus on what you're about to make because it's always a risk when you're going into business. I had to think about if I had to think about the expense of getting the equipment, having losses, not worrying where staff would come from. In the beginning, I would have never started. I decided that with the vision God gave me and knowing in his promises that there is where there's a will, there is a way, he has never failed me yet. The challenges will come, but without rain, there's no sun. And it works vice versa. You have to pour into yourself. I had to learn this along my journey that the most important asset was myself. And the more you develop yourself, is the better you position yourself to be successful in your industry. And what I mean by that is enhancing your skills. Upskill, upskill, upskill. Take advantage of as many courses there are, scholarships from the government, from the Youth Economy Agency, from SLYBT, from the Ministry of Commerce, from Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, from CAD DPT, from ICDF, you name it. I'm on each and every page and I'm watching the updates every day. Your feeds would change because now opportunities that pop up, you're going to be on the forefront. I advise any youth and business owner to go onto the social media platform and follow these organizations, including the Community Tourism Agency, and you guys would see what I'm talking about. As long as you position yourself in a place that you're focused on developing yourself and there's no competition, but you getting better every day, then nothing would stop you. We have we have imposter syndrome, which hits people, but you cannot question where God placed you. And if you're working on yourself and developing yourself, then that's an insecurity that you can overcome.
I can honestly say seek Him first and let everything else fall after. To those of you on our live, Bryanson Starkert, Solange, good morning to you. Maria, she said great topic. Thank you so much for that as well. Um, you've inspired me, and we've had that conversation. But honestly, for me, being here right now to say negligence, this is what no, honestly, negligence is what, like, for me, because the potential is definitely there, ideas are there, execution to an extent definitely, but you're not giving it your all, and I'm at fault for that. Today should be the change that I want as an entrepreneur. I claim that movement today should be the change. In that conversation, you spoke about it shouldn't be a competition, but guess what? Everything is a competition. Businesses, work, everything is being seen like that. And it's like the crab in the barrel effect, especially in software. I mean, you have your clothesline industry, and for some reason, I am into fashion, and I may want to pursue that very same in terms of having that store. And you would see me as a great competitor, or even maybe to a disadvantage, and would try all sorts of, you know, spread all sorts of propaganda, if I may, just, for me to get my business to that point of closure. And it should be where sisterhood, sister in a business, and make it happen, and even where expansion is concerned as well.
And you're making a valid point. And I got to experience this firsthand because you're in a ocean, I would say, and there are many ships, but all of us are at different levels. I believe in collaborative leadership. If our business complements each other, then we surely would see a light. God said, if you want to go further, go together. I mean, I'm handling digital marketing with strategies, planning, and we handle content creation. So we strategize and we also implement. But there are still strengths of other like minded creatives in the space who may be stronger in certain aspects. While I may have specialized in all the areas, I would say my best side is in terms of the marketing plan and the strategy. We handle graphic designs, we do web development, but we have heads, divisions. So Miranda George Affer, founder of Tektronites, and myself went to Sir Arthur Lewis Community College under the Jeunesse program and were colleagues. Back in 2021, when we met, we've been we've been a driving force. We've been a driving force, like a magnet, attracting each other and giving each other support in every aspect. She's always on her toes when it comes to me because when you and another like minded person sees that in each other, be clear and concise in your communication at all times, is what I would say. It's a challenge when you have an expectation and your partners or your colleagues don't understand if you don't communicate it effectively. So when you would say that it's a competition, we don't see it as a competition, but we see it as how can we develop ourselves further. Today, I'm stronger in marketing than I was 8 years ago. And I've gotten even better in audio visual production than I was within the past 3 years. And for her, she got better in web development. And we just keep complimenting each other as we go along. And we always push each other. And you need people who come as midwives in your life to help you bring out and push what God has placed inside of you. If you're ever in a position that somebody makes you feel any less of yourself, or they're trying to make you accept an opinion of you from their point of view, you have to first know your worth, know who you are and whose you are. And for me, I'm a child of the King, a child of God, and I know what His word says about me. And if you have to accept what people say in business, and if you don't understand that He said that He has plans to prosper you and there is enough out there, let me tell you, the people you might be looking for to support you, it could be friends, neighbors, families, your parents. He said He'd never leave you or forsake you. And number two, strangers will buy from you. Let me tell you, I have experienced it firsthand. So if you're looking at the software market as a place that's competitive, then you need to change your target market because you can be operating from software, but your target audience can be international customers, and you would just have to tailor your SEO and your marketing strategy towards your target audience. So whether it be that you're trying to sell baby clothes, you cannot target a baby because they're not going to be online. So you will be targeting mothers, newborns, parents who would be willing to buy for the child, and as well as who would be willing to gift their child or grandchild. If you're targeting seniors, majority of them would tell you they're not so literate or on social media to the capacity that they would just say it's social media advertising for everyone. And that's where we understood that competition doesn't lie in the aspect of how people look at it, but it lies in how do I position my brand and myself to get the best possible outcome. So if you're aware that you're in the software space, and the market is better in the north, you would have to tailor your strategy to let the north people know that you deliver. And based on quality, it doesn't matter where you are, your customers are willing to wait. Look at Amazon.com and Shein. Persons ordering from all overseas and waiting up to 2 weeks for orders until the shipping companies tell them that it's here. This tells you that you can position your brand to fit the needs of these customers, including fast food. I look at KFC as a business that shows you in their nature of their structure, their fries are like barely a half plate, but persons would come to the small businesses and tell them they're looking for a plate of fries for $15 or $20 to be as full as how the Chinese do it. Now, I cannot tell you how the Chinese get to that point where their fries has that majority, but look at the quality and look at the aesthetics of the presentation. Look at the entrepreneurs who's doing it. It's a young person who came up with her brilliant idea and she's bringing out her craft. She may not have the same suppliers, vendors, or resources that KFC or the Chinese person has, but you would find persons would come in to tarnish that person's dream and make them even forget why they became an entrepreneur. Startup Huddle St. Lucia is there as a safe space to guide you, and we understand because we see it. And if you're concerned that it's your price, don't worry about it. There is somebody willing to pay more. So if you're going to cry about persons who don't want to support you because they're saying your price is either too high, but you know that you bring value, you know that you bring quality, somebody else will pay more. And that's how I could end on the competition side of business.
Which is true. We have Obedia Saltibus. Good morning. Always a pleasure just listening to your guest speak. Proud of you. Well done.
Thank you so much.
On the business aspect of it, I think too often persons are they may have the ideas, but then they're afraid to try, and not knowing the various support, I mean, systems that are there for them. My good friend here did say there is the community tourism, but then sometimes that may just be all that person knows, Building the contact is a very important thing as well. Networking really assists persons on a day to day. The various platforms that are really available for people to navigate. You made mention of social media. It plays an integral role in your business growth, that is. And if you're not tech savvy as well, it can also hinder your business. So there are pros and cons.
That's right. What I would say is, although the information may be on social media, you would still find that there are third party organizations, including the Sufre constituency group, who makes it their duty to continuously post updates in every chat room, on their WhatsApp, and reshares on their pages. So if it happens that I miss something, I would go look at their status on WhatsApp or any group I'm in, the updates will come. So I don't mute my notifications. I leave them because you just never know when it's your time and when it's your season. And I would say apply for all. So don't tell yourself, well, I'm not going to apply for this one. I'll go apply for that one instead. If you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, and you have not a fixed mindset, but a growth mindset that you know what you're aiming for, I'm asking you to take the leap of faith. You don't want to be your own hindrance in your life, because most times half of the problems we face are in our mind, telling us self-doubt why we should not do it, or we procrastinate. I would tell you, take that first step and just look into them. The Youth Economy Agency has a direct office line, including their email channels and social media. They will tell you Tanzania calls. When I applied for my grant, Tanzania calls. She would arrive in Castries. She would email, and you take the necessary steps. There is nothing to be ashamed of when you are a beginner. Amazon was in a garage. Facebook and all the others shows you their history. And even if you're doing it from your home kitchen, take yourself up, dress up, play your part as the CEO and the one carrying the many hats to get your dream to the next step, and head to any of these agencies for support, including Startup Huddle St. Lucia, who will give you the information on where to go, because all of the executive members of Startup Huddle, including members who are in our ecosystem, our beneficiaries, one way or the other have benefited from one of these programs. And we want to thank these organizations for being available, that we, the youth and startups, can tap into. I will not sit here and lie and tell you guys that there was it's a perfect road to getting things done as an entrepreneur, but you have to be willing to take the necessary steps and move from one place to another to get what you want. I didn't accomplish anything by just sitting there. I had to make the calls, I had to travel, I had to invest into what I wanted. And the benefits I am reaping today, it's from my harvest. Persons see you tomorrow standing up on the media in publications, but they don't know your sleepless nights, the nights when you would cry, and all the hard work and effort, your setbacks, when you started and you felt you reached that closing point and you plummeled all the way back to the bottom, and rebuilding and restructuring, reanalyzing, looking at your data, looking at your numbers, connections you made and you couldn't keep, those networks you fostered and they broke. You can pick up the pieces and start again as long as you have the right mindset, is all I would say. And if that mindset is for growth, join us on the 19th of March, where we're going to tap into some real serious topics on finance and all the resources that are available. A reminder, as I mentioned, to follow all of the pages from Youth Economy Agency, Community Tourism, Taiwanese ICDF, Ministry of Commerce, Super Constituency Group, and whatever community you're in, tap into your local resources and ask the questions. Asking is a skill. Go for it. And in the end, the only person who's going to look back at that journey is yourself, because you don't want to be 5 years from now saying, I should have, when you can today. You can do it right now. Take the 1 hour from your lunch, take it in the night. No matter what you do, don't give up on yourself. You're your biggest asset in the entire entrepreneurship wood that's structured. The U stands for you.
Thank you for that. Someone asked, what exactly is the Jeunesse program and its role?
So the Jeunesse program was one of the first programs that was developed by the Ministry of Commerce, the Taiwanese ICDF, and Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. It's now been dissolved into the Youth Economy Agency. So the same access we had to courses, resources, and grants have now been structured into a agency that every St. Lucian youth can apply for. There's no discrimination, and there's nowhere in the form asking you about your race, gender, or color. So I would advise or encourage anyone to just take their phone and give them a call. And the staff are always welcoming. There's not a day you would go there and they're not ready for you. There's resources from the first floor to the second floor, and a team of people with happy faces who are eagerly waiting to hear about you and your business. So I would encourage anyone to take their phone and
What are your biggest, hindrance or factor to demotivation? That is, so let today serve as an inspiration. I can dust myself up. I can make it happen, and I will make it happen. Thank you so much for that. You are definitely looking forward to your trip.
I sure am very excited. We've already been networking between the OECS and Barbados fellows with the Young Leaders of America initiative. And I could tell you that it's a powerhouse when you walk into a room with persons who are as eagerly wanting to see their enterprise thrive. The energy in the room is so uplifting that you it's like show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And your circle of five, it's a group of eager innovators, change makers, future leaders, and all of them have something to share and they all have something to pour into you as you likewise have to pour into them. And I'm so honored to have been chosen and as well to have not just my social enterprise business, which is Safi Tours, Nature Hike and Campgrounds, which is the project I was originally going up with, but they also allowed that we're able to network for our other businesses and organizations that we're a part of. So this means that this opportunity serves as a plus for St. Lucia, that when we get up there, the opportunities that we're returning with, it's not just for one enterprise, but where we all can tap in as we're now more focused on agriculture and growing our own food and being more health conscious. And social enterprises are mostly based on impact. Either you're impacting the planet, the people, the price. So if you have these three P's narrowed down, then you're already onto something great. And there are lots of opportunities and avenues for you to thrive in the ecosystem. I would again like to say that Startup Huddle St. Lucia is not owned but managed by T&D Marketing and Sales Management, and I am your local director.
Nice. Could you, in terms of your project outline for 2025, you mind sharing with us right here?
Well, for
I
Safi,
put you on the spot a bit.
yes, I realized. So, Safi Tours is a social enterprise for profit, and it's focused on agri-tourism, where we're helping marginalized and at-risk youth to get upskilled and trained in agriculture. Apart from that, once the development commences and we structure the farm to table area because we're already cultivating the land and growing our own food organically, those youth can transition into food and beverage and hospitality and take them off from one level to the next into becoming VPs with our accommodation phases as we go through. So for 2025, we're projecting that we should have the first phase completed by December with the farm to table restaurant on site. And we've been testing out the hikes where persons come and they sample the local fruits and do the garden tours, and they get to appreciate knowing what all of the plants are. If you go to TripAdvisor or get your guide, you would hear from our guests who've already tested out the hiking tours that the information that they receive is invaluable, and many of them got an appreciation for knowing that certain products they use, they can substitute it with natural, organic fruits, vegetables, and teas. So this is what Safi is there for, to first focus on not just the land preservation and management, but we're looking at four other principles in renewable energy, waste management, poverty alleviation, and food preservation. So these five principles would make our product something that's viable not just for the beneficiaries but for the entire community, because as a social enterprise we're focused on developing other NGOs, so the profits don't go to our bottom dollar to fit our pockets, but in turn to help enhance and develop as many youth as we can.
Thank you again for this insight. I welcome, this. But I can also say to you, similar experiences already being shared. Again, it goes back to a conversation we had where we have the Zeno to Dewas Trail as well with similar offerings, and not taking away anything. We also have the agritourism park as well with the farm to table concept too.
That's right. And the thing about all these initiatives is that we all focus on different aspects. As we speak, both the Fossejak Agritourism Park and the Zeno Dewas Trail are managed by T&D Marketing and Sales Management, because social entrepreneurship is on our forefront, and we're giving them the direct support and access to the resources that I will be bringing back from my fellowship. So while we're focused on marginalized and at risk, the Zeno Dewas Trail focus on community development, and Fossejak focuses on their overall community enhancement. These free projects would come hand in hand and would offer any visiting guest the opportunity to get a three-in-one. We have nature enthusiasts and hikers who come down, and sometimes in one day they wouldn't mind doing 3 to 4 hikes, which gives them the ultimate experience when they get to Soufrière and the new upcoming Bonneuville Nature Trail, which will also be there as another option for them. The good thing about all of these initiatives is we have a common goal, that we're here to enhance the community and develop in every phase. We all can't focus on the same things, but we do have the same outcome. So while we have the at-risk and marginalized youth and the boys mostly as our focus, we have the others bringing up our senior side and the other aspects that would make Soufrière great.
I applaud you. Um, let's just flip a little. Women, we're getting set to celebrate International Women's Day, Sunday, March 8th, that is, if I'm correct. You, as a woman, as a powerful woman in my midst here, do you feel or think enough is really happening to support our women? When we take a look at violence,
That's a very sensitive topic, because number one for women empowerment and supporting any movement that encourages the safety of women. I believe that a lot is being done, but what they say is there is always room for improvement. I would say kudos to the government of St. Lucia and RSLPF. I remember back in 2021, the domestic violence unit for women, which is upstairs the Lamar building, they have a safe space and a number of female officers who are hands on and always ready to speak with any women and address their concerns and give them direct support. So I would not say that there isn't anything being done, but for persons to be made aware that there are things in place to help and assist. I recently met with Officer James, and she was letting me know that they're continuing their efforts to ensure that women are aware that there is a unit for them. And as women, we supposed to be each other's keeper. Majority of the time, women go through situations. A woman may just as well be her downfall. So when we look at that topic, I would say is women pose too much threats to each other as much as there are factors of men. It's most times invoked by another woman. We've come to a place that's very sad that you would see long ago parents would accept that a senior lady or respectable person in authority would be able to discipline a girl or a child to at least steer them away from situations which would become a worse outcome. We did not appreciate that time because persons would have felt, why should Miss Joan or Miss H or Miss Popo discipline me when she's not my mother? But it shows you that the generation gap and with modernization to where we are now and following trends, we have dropped the ball. Parents are so defensive today if their child gets corrected. Whether or not they've gotten the full outcome, you could have never been in the right if an adult takes you away from getting yourself in a situation that would either bring shame to yourself or your family or to hinder your own reputation. Today, you have parents who would want to either fight back in schools, and the children are learning from that. Today, you hearing about so many women affected by choices we have made, and I'm not saying that this should be the fate of any woman, because as humans, I believe in our nature we need to be more kind, because within us we can birth spirits of anger and rage that would cause us to inflict harm, which is your carnal mindset. But we have to look at each other as living, breathing organisms and appreciate when you look into that person's eye that you can see yourself. You can see that person's breathing just like you, and without the kindness and the love and looking past the mistakes and whatever happens, it should never be the last resort to take someone's life for anything. we have we're now seeing that there's a cross that persons are not even recognizing each other as human beings with the way we handle conflict resolution and persons not being sensitive to persons situations. If you look at persons wanting to um, go around and tarnish each other and break down each other when we should have been a driving force and building and uplifting each other. As Women's Day is coming, the new theme, the theme for this year would still coincide with what's happening throughout the years in breaking the bias and gender-based violence on the forefront. And I would be standing in the forefront with all the women asking whether the perpetrator is a man or a woman, to stop the violence. Be each other's keeper, uplift each other, be humble, give love, and give grace because we are delicate. If our women are lost, it means that our generation wouldn't multiply, our race would slowly wither away because these same women are the ones who would be birthing these babies. You can't have babies from men. So these women are a delicate resource. So we need to look at each other and see the value and what is being brought to the table. And I would encourage anyone this Women's Day to stand in solidarity for those we've lost, those who are sick, and those who are unable, that you will share a little kindness, share a little love, and be their support, no matter what small way you can, this coming Women's Day.
Very inspirational message. I implore, as women, let's try to be each other's keeper. Let's try to be. 11:30. It's been an interesting conversation from the onset. This is where we, due to schedule, this is where I do not want to, but we have to say goodbye
Of
until,
course, until we
yes.
come to our next updates. But I would like to just say one announcement that this coming Sunday, SLPWO is inviting all women to the Sunday Mass at the at Our Lady of the Assumption Church in Soufrière, and to wear the colors mauve and purple. It's at 8 a.m., followed by a breakfast at Whispers Club in Soufrière. I thank you again for having me, Cabrina. It's always a pleasure. Guys, please ensure you follow Startup Huddle St. Lucia and T&D Marketing and Sales. It was a pleasure being here with house guests. I am your featured speaker today on the 6th of March. Until we see each other again, Cabrina, thank you so much for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you here as well, Miss Mathurin. It's returned, and I'm looking forward to bring you back here after your trip to tell us all about it, the journey.
Thank you so much, and I'll be amazed to be here and happy to share because it only gets better.
Definitely. This has been our second fold of house guest for today, Thursday, the 6th day of March 2024. Immense pleasure. And thank you to all those of you who shared in your comments as well. And to you who locked in by your frequency, we say, have yourself a productive one. Until next time, take care. We're out.
Picture this. You open your freezer to find it fully stocked with all your favorite